All right, hello there. Today's episode is with Sue. So I'm gonna just kind of let you talk as I have done with everybody else. So
Right.
yeah. So do you want to introduce yourself and let's talk about the type of epilepsy that you have, and then we'll go into everything else.
My name's Sue, and I have a temporal lobe epilepsy.
Yeah. Yes.
And this was diagnosed in 1959, 60.
Yeah.
After I'd had febrile seizures.
Yeah.
And it was quite common for febrile seizures to end up with temporal lobe epilepsy.
Yeah.
But prior to 1959, people with epilepsy had to go into mental institutions.
Crazy.
So I just missed out.
Luckily.
And been sent to a mental institution.
Crazy.
And because the Mental Health Act was changed in '59 so that people with epilepsy could live out in the community.
Yeah. Well, do you know what the reason behind them putting people into institutes was for that?
Because they didn't understand epilepsy.
Just ignorance.
It was a mental case. Everybody was mental. And nobody had heard of it either. So nobody knew about epilepsy whatsoever.
Because there were so many different types of epilepsy as well. Like people just probably assumed
nobody knew about the different epilepsies.
Yeah.
Epilepsy just didn't exist, only as a mental problem. So I just missed out of being sent to an mental institution.
So when you were kind of growing up with that, did you still have obviously that kind of thought pattern from other people still kind of quite prevalent around at that time, or?
Well, as nobody knew about it, and they just thought you were an idiot. And because with the medication, which was only phenobarbital, that made you seem dopey and an idiot in the process.
Yeah.
And then teachers and other people in the community didn't know about it. So as it was absence seizures that I had at the time.
Yeah.
I was told off in school for daydreaming and then given detentions for not concentrating. And of course I was bullied by other pupils thinking I was an idiot.
Yeah.
Because I was daydreaming.
It's just pure ignorance on their behalf kind of thing. Yeah.
Absolutely, yes.
I still think that's still a bit of an issue today, to be honest with you. I think there is still a lot of ignorance around it on that basis.
Yes, that's what I keep reading and hearing about, that they still haven't got over that and the stigma involved.
Particularly with absence seizures, yeah.
Yes, that's right. And so that was school days, which I was glad to get away from.
I bet, yeah.
Because once I started work, and even that was the difficulty, because you're classed as having a mental problem, people didn't want to employ you. Even, I know that exists today as well.
Still has issues with that, yeah, definitely is, yeah. It's crazy, isn't it, though, like that. I think things have changed a lot in that time frame, and I think a lot more in the last 5-6 years or so since I've had it. I've noticed there's been changes.
Yes, definitely. And since my day, they've gradually changed, even just into the late 60s and 70s. There's some difference to very early 60s.
Yeah.
And Epilepsy Action have a historical timeline that you can download, and it gives all the situation, how epilepsy has changed over the decades.
Yeah.
And what was done in each decade, which would be worth
yeah, mate. I'll share that around as well with on the page as well, because I think quite a lot of other people would be quite interested in reading that as well. Because I think myself, I know I'm quite ignorant to kind of the historical background of it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember, like, obviously reading about, prior to me having it, was obviously back in the early 1900s where people was kind of locked in cupboards and stuff because they had it, and it was kind of,
that's type of thing.
Yeah, that's like,
institutions.
yeah, that's kind of to be honest, that's what I grew up with, knowing about epilepsy. It was that sort of thing, if you know what I mean.
Yes, and so I managed to get a job only with the civil service,
Okay.
which, being a government organisation, they just thought, well, maybe we'll let me try a job out, and give it a chance. And then I proved my worth and got promoted.
Oh, well done.
But I still had to stop in the civil service.
Yeah.
But I didn't mind because it was an interesting job. And they accepted me, which was nice.
Which is what you want, isn't it? That you just want to feel, you want to feel normal, kind of. Yeah. Yeah, no.
And then again, they started to get to know about epilepsy more.
Like educating themselves.
Yes, that's right. And so they accepted me even more because I'd had the absence seizures right up until about late 60s.
Yeah.
And then they changed into catamenial, which is the hormone-based one.
Oh, right. Okay, so the same as Joe on the last one.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. And they got a lot worse,
right,
and became complex partial seizures then.
Right.
And so they changed my drug from phenobarbital to epineutin, or the other name is phenytoin.
Okay.
And that helped a bit.
Yeah.
But not much. I still got seizures every month, where I had to have a whole day in bed because I had so many on one particular day when the period situations started, and then the day after as well. I wasn't well enough to go into work, and they accepted all that, which was very good. That they let me have those 2 days off every month.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
I was gonna say, I imagine a lot of workplaces at that time probably wouldn't have been as understanding, if you know what I mean, as well.
No, exactly. That's right.
Yeah.
And so, when I was taking this epineutin, and also because I knew my seizures, when they were going to be happening every month, all the period between was, I knew I wasn't going to have any.
Right.
And so there's quite a few things I was able to do. And I wasn't photosensitive epilepsy, didn't affect me at the time, so I could go out to rock concerts and have all the
normal
strobe lighting, and it didn't affect me, which was I was very lucky.
Yeah.
That I could do that. Yeah. And then after a while, I was okay. Then went to another group, joined one of the very first epilepsy groups, which was in about 1960. This was at the time when the Mental Health Act changed. And Epilepsy Action, known as the British Epilepsy Association at the time, was trying to get public more aware and helping people with epilepsy, and set up these local groups.
Yeah, cool.
And so that just helped a little bit.
Yeah, just to have a bit of support around you, sort of thing.
Yeah, that's right. And so I went to one of those, and then another friend, because I lacked total confidence at the time.
Understandable.
It was terrible. Then even going out on a bus to work, every time I got up, I thought everybody was looking at me, and you just didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
And then another friend came along and invited me to this other youth organisation called FAB, Physically Handicapped and Able-Bodied People.
Yeah.
That I joined. And there were people there who needed my help. And so therefore, they were in a worse situation than me.
Yeah.
And it gave me the confidence, knowing I needed to help them, and they were worse off.
Yeah.
But all this time, I'm still on epineutin and just having the ketamine
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
epilepsy. And met my husband there. So got married for a while.
Yeah.
And then a few years later, I was able to give birth to a daughter.
Oh, bro.
Which was very nice.
Yeah, but yeah. Were you when you were pregnant with her? Were you worried about the tablets or anything? Because I know that's obviously a big thing now.
No, nothing was mentioned about anything in those days.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, with the epineutin, it didn't have any effect on the.
Okay, that's good.
And so I was lucky in that aspect as well.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
And after having her, a year later, the seizures started to get a bit worse again. And they put me on phenobarbital on top of the epineutin.
Right.
Of course, all along through my life, I've had a fairly bad memory. First of all, I reckon it's the phenobarbital that didn't help.
Yeah.
And then now that it was put back again with the epineutin, I completely lost part of my life. I can't remember a single thing.
Really?
Yes, it's upsetting when husbands ask me, we did this, we did that, and I just don't know about it.
Yeah.
And that made me aggressive, having both of those together.
Yeah.
And then along came Epilepsy. I thought, take her off this drug and we'll try Epilepsy. Of course, nothing was mentioned at the time that it was going to affect any births and that. But all the time I was on Epilepsy, I kept getting miscarriages. So in a way, I'm thankful for that, because you never know what might have happened. And then after a while, I found that again, here's the memory coming. That's the problem. We'd moved house quite a bit, and I can't remember anything from that. And then I'm just trying to think now. I've noted loads of things down here. All the time, I basically, right from the start regarding memory, I know things happened, but what happened, I don't know. Like, I don't know anything about my wedding. I don't know about the birth of my daughter. But I know the happened type of thing, and holidays as well. I know where we went, but what happened, I can't remember anything about it.
So it's like the vague outline of it you remember, but not the detail sort of thing.
Yes, that's right. And so after that, as I say, we moved house. I can't remember a thing what happened then.
Bless you.
But then after a while, the seizures got worse again. But this is when I'd reached menopause.
Right.
And so I was put on Lamictal with the Epilepsy. And that helped a little bit, but not much at all. And I couldn't use HRT because that only brought seizures on again.
Yeah.
And also the seizures then started to get into simple and complex, and they just
Mm.
became irregular.
Yeah.
You didn't know when they were going to occur.
Yeah.
And it was just stress and tiredness
Mm.
and extra physical work
Yeah.
seemed to bring them on.
I think a lot of people who have tonic-clonic seizures generally,
Yeah,
they are all over, sort of thing. Yeah.
that's right.
So,
That's basically how life's gone.
yeah.
But fortunately, I've been able to get out and do activities.
Yeah. Try and live as normal a life as you possibly can with it.
Yes, that's right.
So are you still having them now, seizures?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're still random.
I've gone through the menopause, but before I reached that stage, I did get where those started to go to nocturnal as well, and had a really bad time with the nocturnal ones. I used to end up getting up in the middle of the night and start wandering around, not knowing what I was doing. And my husband says, "What are you doing?" Because I'd woken him up, climbing walls and trying to find a door.
Right.
That type of thing.
Christ.
And then when I went to see the neurologist again, he said it's probably because I've been on Epilepsy for so long, 30 years, that it had probably got toxic and was starting to make all them worse.
Right.
And so I was changed to Keppra.
Well, a lot of us are on, yeah.
And it's entirely the opposite to what most people. I became really lively. My memory came back. I could do a load of physical work.
Yeah.
And it felt like a new life.
Oh, bless you.
Had started.
Yeah.
And so when I read these people saying, oh, the aggressiveness and all that, it just shows how it affects people differently, doesn't it?
Yeah. And probably as well from having the previous drugs being so toxic, for example, like it probably is a mood swing the other way for you. So it's kind of like.
Absolutely, yes, that's right.
Well, that's good though. That if it's finally kind of doing good for you though, it's took quite some time for that to happen. But
that's right.
Yeah. But no,
and, unfortunately as well, I managed because this is earlier on before menopause started. I was able to join a choir.
Oh, lovely.
And so that was really nice. And choir, singing with a group of people, helps to
relieve stress.
Lift you, makes you feel really good, which helps the epilepsy when you're feeling really low.
No, yeah, get that, yeah.
So I could do that. But then when the menopause and started to have the complex partial seizures, it just got a bit difficult, but they still let me sing.
Yeah.
But when I felt a seizure coming on, I'd stand at the back and so I could just slip out and then go and sit down in the back room and let it pass over.
Yeah. Did you have that much kind of time notice between your, like, so you
yes, I'd always had an aura.
Yeah.
So I knew it was coming on, so I could just slip out. And, so I've been thankful that I can do so much.
Yeah.
Really. But I've never been able to drive.
Yeah.
But you just get on with it.
Yeah. It's not something it's not something you're going to miss because you've not had it as part of your life, sort of thing. So it's not.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
This is what I think is difficult for people who have been able to drive and they suddenly can't. It must be devastating that.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like on the first one, like she'd had that issue where she was desperate to get back to driving because she'd already had seizures for a year. Bless her. Yeah.
Yes, and that's how that's gone, and so I've automatically had to rely on people to take me places where a bus can't go, like the choir.
Yeah.
They're all out of reach. from a bus that I used to catch, and just had to ask people if they could give me a lift.
That's what it is, isn't it?
That's right, which is it's kind that they managed to do that for me.
Yeah. That's good.
And so I'm still with the choir at the moment as well.
Oh, brilliant. Give them a shout out.
And so that's really nice.
Oh, nice. What's the name of the choir? We'll give them a.
It's known as Musical Village.
Musical.
I live in Leicester,
Okay.
and it's one of the choirs in our area.
Oh, lovely. Okay. Well, they've got a bit of fame now. They're on here.
So that's really nice.
No,
And also I can let them know if I'm feeling a bit rough.
yeah.
I'll say that I don't feel well enough to participate in a concert and all that we're doing.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's good to participate and get the good vibes going.
100%.
And help the epilepsy in itself.
Yeah, 100% get that. Yeah. I was going to say, one of the things that I have kind of noticed from what you've been saying there as well is, which would have been difficult in the times that you were talking about there, is that it appears that you've always been kind of confident about talking about your epilepsy.
Yes, absolutely. And this is what I've found, that like joining the choir, I've got to tell them.
Yeah.
And they've been, actually, it's a good thing to tell people. They've been absolutely fascinated by it. Yes.
Yeah.
And what it entails. And also telling them about the different types.
Yeah.
Which they don't know about. Just think of the tonic-clonic.
Yeah.
And it's really opened their eyes.
Oh, that's good. That like I say, that's it's not something that you find all that much, is people being confident about talking about it. One of the reasons
No, that's right.
one of the reasons I do this is because people aren't confident talking about it. So I wanted to help people be a bit more confident talking about it, including myself, sort of thing. So
yeah. No, well, that's a good point. You see, from what I've experienced, people are interested.
Yeah.
In what you do.
Yeah.
And when I've applied for other jobs as well, after I'd left having a baby at the time, I didn't apply for jobs until I was about in my late 40s, because my husband was self-employed, and so I did all the paperwork for him.
No, it's okay.
But when the business ceased, I had to find employment.
Yeah.
And so I always told them I suffered with epilepsy, and it helped.
Yeah.
But the very last job I did have was annoying because it's with the NHS.
Right.
And you know how they say about the NHS is overworked. It literally was.
Yeah.
The time scales I had to keep to made me so tired and stressed. I ended up having more seizures. So they dismissed me on ill health grounds.
Yes.
And so that was another thing. Because it's getting more up to date, you got the Disability Discrimination Act.
Yeah.
And they should have made reasonable adjustments.
Yeah, 100%.
Which they didn't do.
Yeah.
And so I had to fight a case against that, and I won.
Okay. Well done. Deserve to win as well.
So that's again the discrimination aspect still coming in this day and age.
Yeah, definitely does. I think that's something as well that I've spoken about with other people, is I don't think a lot of employers realise or overworking you when you've got epilepsy. It's hard to function, and they don't realise.
Absolutely.
It's one of those things where you try to educate them yourself a little bit about it, but you don't want to sound like I'm not wanting to do the job properly. And I think that there is education needed there on that.
Absolutely, yes. This is the main thing, trying to get out into the open more about it.
Yeah.
If we can do.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's hard because you get it from an employer's perspective sometimes as well. Of they've not got much money to kind of do the stuff, but it's also your employees' health.
Yeah,
it's
that's right.
it's a serious health issue as well. It's not.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah,
that's correct.
Yeah. So I was going to say something as well. Was obviously we have kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but was in terms of going forward now, like in terms of the time frame that you've had it, how have you seen public attitudes kind of changing towards your epilepsy, or has it always been, because you've had that really good employer at the start, it's always been quite good? Or
I found it's been quite good.
Yeah.
Everywhere I've been,
Yeah.
as such.
How about it in like general public as well, or
Yes,
Yeah.
in the later years, as I've gained confidence, once I got married and
Yeah.
belonged to that original dad group, I found that it's quite easy
Yeah.
to deal with.
Yeah, like
I'm very lucky.
Are people more inquisitive now, or were they more inquisitive back then, or is it?
It's now.
More now, yeah.
They are, yes.
Yeah.
So it's got out into the open quite a bit.
Yeah.
And able to talk about it more. That they're interested in it.
Yeah.
Because I suppose like Facebook.
Yeah, of course.
For instance, we've got the group going, haven't we?
Yeah, I think it's brilliant.
We've got at the moment.
Yeah.
And then you've got Epilepsy Action and
Society.
Do you see Leslie Donnelly at all?
No.
She's I've forgotten the name that she has. But she keeps putting up little things, slogans and such like about I'm not an idiot. I'm people with epilepsy aren't this. And all sorts of things that were quite normal people, and we strive to succeed and not do certain things. I forget all the wording. It's on Facebook, and it's known as Leslie Donnelly. If you wanted to,
I'll have a check out.
Have a look at that. She resides in South Africa.
Oh, right, okay.
So that's quite good.
Yeah, I was going to say, speaking of like Facebook and stuff, I know I've spoken with a few others about this, but we were quite lucky in terms of when we've had epilepsy, a lot of us, the kind of younger generation, in terms of there's been support there pretty much since I've had it. I know you've mentioned obviously starting up with the original version of Epilepsy Action and stuff. How did you find that kind of element of things, of support of other people with it, or of?
Oh yes, because I joined the other epilepsy groups in about when was it, in the 80s.
Yeah.
They seemed to be starting up again.
Yeah, yeah.
And I joined one in Leicester.
Okay.
And that disbanded in about, I think it must have been 2002.
So it went for quite a while then, yeah.
So it went on for some time, yes. Yeah. And then you felt lost to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Because you haven't got this meeting with people.
So is that what it was? Was it like a regular kind of catch up, kind of talk about your problems, or is it just?
Yes, all that. And then we used to have people come and give us talks.
Oh, okay.
The secretary of the group would arrange all this, and things like somebody came along with a seizure dog and talked about having seizure dogs.
Yeah.
And other talks on general things as well, which, help people get together. We talk about epilepsy and how it affected us. There are any new people who were, insecure, and then they enjoyed it finding that there's other people in the same situation, how we dealt with it.
Yeah, it's
And then you've got the social aspect as well of having these talks and so forth.
Yeah, like I always find it's good to realize you're not lost, you're not on your own, sort of thing with it.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest takeaway I've had in the last, probably say 12 to 18 months, more so. Even though I haven't had seizures for 5 years now, but the last 12 to 18 months has been kind of when I've started to reach out to the groups and find out.
Yes, no, it's a great help. And because it finished in about 2000, early 2000s, I felt a bit lost.
Yeah.
And then Epilepsy Action had yearly meetings, like the whole country with the top dogs there. And it would go along with the seminar. I went along to about 1 or 2 and met somebody else there from Leicester. And we got together and started up another group again in Leicester. To, again, same situation. We ended up having people come along and who, you know, were insecure, and then found out a lot about how to deal with it. And then again, that's when I found this other choir that a friend introduced me to. And I left that because I found the choir more beneficial to me because of the uplifting feeling. But at least it kept going with this other friend that operated it, and somebody else helped her as well.
So is it still going today now, that one?
No, the group's finished, and now they have the what they call chapter groups instead. Groups.
Yeah, it's all online sort of thing now.
Yes, not quite the same thing.
Still helpful though, still probably better presence and stuff. So
yeah, that's right. And of course the Zoom now, like yourself at the moment, where people have been talking from home. Which I think has helped a lot of people as well.
I know, I think I might start doing a kind of more than just kind of 2 people one, so a lot of people can kind of chat at once.
Oh, that'd be ideal.
Yeah, maybe not record that one, just kind of have a
general chat. That would be ideal, because that's what's been happening at the moment. Just general chat.
I think that would be good.
It's really good. And yes, other things have occurred because I think we finished going into menopause, didn't I?
Yeah.
And going through the menopause, the change to simple and complex. And as I've gradually come out of that, now I've gone through the menopause, the seizures have started to just go into simple partial, which has made life a lot easier. Still get the auras, which helps as well. And but as I say, now simple partial, which is very useful.
So it's a lot.
It's taken a lot while to get down to something that's
manageable.
A lot more manageable. So
enjoy what you've now got, I suppose, isn't it? It's that kind of.
Well, exactly. That's right. I say take life as it comes.
100%. And I'll be honest, just listening to you as well, you've had like a really positive outlook on what has kind of been a life. A life of seizure, a life of epilepsy.
That's right.
So it's quite nice to see that you've got a positive outlook. You've sought out other groups. You've sought out ways to kind of figure ways to sort of deal with what you're going through. I really appreciate it. That's really cool.
Oh, thank you. It's always nice to be appreciated.
It's one of the things of, like I say, where we have a lot of people who do watch this or take part in this who will be struggling to deal with what is a life-changing thing.
Yes, absolutely.
So yeah,
Right.
to see other people, everybody deals with it differently, obviously.
Well, that's it. That's what the interesting aspect is, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Why are you doing this? To see how everybody feels individually.
Yeah, of course. And like I always say on each one is how you deal with it will be different to how I deal with it, how Chloe deals with it, how Joe deals with it. Everyone's going to be
that's
sort of
right.
different. So, but that's also something I've noticed as well, is that people are very positive, even when they are. A lot of people with epilepsy seem to be quite positive now in terms of how they're dealing with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's what you've got to be, positive.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And this is, again, I found being positive has helped me do other things as well. Feel I want to organise things. Like on Facebook, you read about school activities. And even though I hated school, because of being bullied and all that, I thought, I joined somebody from my years who hold monthly meetings. And so I met up with them meet up with them every month, which is really good.
Yeah.
You've disbanded all those myths, well, not myths, the terrible situation you had at school, completely forgotten about it.
Great.
And then also I've set up this other group for in another set of years at the grammar school I used to go to. And we haven't been able to meet now since COVID. But hopefully in October we'll get another reunion again.
Oh, bro. That's
so we think 60 years have gone by and we're still meeting people. It's really nice.
Yeah. And like you say, for you as well, it must be quite good to have that. That's what you thought of me. This is the reason why I was like.
Yes, that's right. Absolutely. And have a good laugh about things now instead.
Yeah, of course, no, 100%.
What happened.
Yeah. To an extent.
Well, yes. But to everybody else, don't give up. Just persevere and do the best you can. And don't be afraid to talk to people about it.
Words to live by.
I think nowadays they might appreciate no more. So I should try and do it that way.
That's brilliant. Yeah. I think that's probably a good tone to end on, to be fair.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, if you've got more you want to share, go ahead. But
the only other thing is that I've belonged to a rambling group, which was starting to diminish.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the people have started to be in their 80s now.
Yeah.
And that was started by somebody who were in the 30s, 20s and 30s. And so, of course, I thought, well, it's enjoyable rambling as well. Get that fresh air and being away from